Crisis of Trust, where she shines a light on trust here in society and really how we can improve upon just that. So let's get to her now. Again, we're talking about an acclaimed author here, featured in the New York Times, the Washington Post. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Talk to us a little bit about this new book.
Well, I think that most of us would agree that without a common understanding of what is true, what is accurate, that we can't have a democracy. So that's just one piece of my life story and my mission. What drives me is what makes democracy work, because without democracy, we can't solve any of our problems. So in Crisis of Trust, I talk about how some other democracies have stepped up to enable people to sort out fact and fiction and do it in a way that is trusted in society.
Absolutely. So what societies have you studied? Have you been researching really that have maybe given you some hope towards kind of a democratic ideal, if you will?
Well, one country on just on this piece of it, on disinformation, that really stands out and is New Zealand. That they had a terrific problem years ago, and they decided to create a public body. It's a Broadcast Standards Authority, it's called, a public body that was completely transparent. And so the transparency is a big part of it. By transparency, I mean that everything this agency did was online and you could see what was happening. And anybody in New Zealand could make a complaint to the Broadcast Standards Authority and have it visible online about something that is both inaccurate and dangerous. It had to be both false and dangerous. And then this respected group would make a decision about whether it was worth, really diving into, and then they would come a judgment on it. And it was very rare. I think it was something like 7% of the time. Anyway, a small percentage. Did they decide that they had to act? But they were very important. There was an afternoon TV show that broadcast false information about COVID as part of the show, and they were told that they had to, the next week, same time, same place, they had to put out the correct information about COVID. So I really respect them tremendously that they have stepped up and made it all transparent.
Absolutely, with transparency being a huge element in all of this.
Huge.
For folks listening right now, where can they go to buy this book?
Oh, well, it is a report published by the
Okay.
Small Planet Institute. So smallplanet.org. Please, we're really easy to find on the web, smallplanet.org, and we'd be happy to make it available to you. And it tells also about other countries, and it's really quick to get through. You can and see what's happening around the world.
Thank you so much for joining us and really kind of shedding a light on this. I appreciate you taking the time. All righty. Well.